Good day, everybody. I am Alejandra Merino. Here we are with Josué Grenes, Carlos Rojas, and Paola Lopez. We are the Clowns group, and today we are going to explain you what is the asynchronous transfer mode or ATM network. So let's start first with what is this network? Well, first of all, this network burns to reach a necessity in order to have a good quality of service, but also with a reasonable cost. So it can transfer all kind of information such as video, voice, or any kind of data. This data is grouped by data in fixed size package that are called cells. And well, this network is independent of the medium of transmission. So it means that you can have a weird or a kind of fever, and it works well. So the way of the data is transferred is with the switching, that is with virtual circuits. And also it allows a high performance multimedia network during the transmission. So, well, this is the main data unit of the ATM network, that is the cell. It has a header with 5 bytes of length and a body or payload with 48 bytes of length. And well, how does it work? Well, first of all, for any data transfer, we have to make a connection in end-to-end. Then the ATM network are constructed with these switches that I mentioned before, and it has a unique physical connection. Then the data is transferred with the protocol data unit, and then we have a virtual path identifier and virtual channel identifier. This data is stored in the header of the cell, and well, this information are used in order to select what is the data that is sending in the moment.
Okay, now that we see the definition of ATM technology, we are going to see the difference between ATM and data networks. First of all, ATM is a virtual circuit. The path is reserved before transmission, while in Internet protocol is connectionless and end-to-end resources reservations are not possible. Secondly, ATM cells have fixed or small size, and trade-off is between voice or data, while IP packages are of variable size. And finally, we have that ATM uses 20-byte global NSAP addresses for signaling and 32-bit locally assigning labels in cells, while in IP uses 32-bit global addresses in all packages. And now that we see the differences, we have to note the characteristics. The first characteristic is ATM technology provides dynamic bandwidth that is particularly suited for bursty traffic. And all data is encoded into identical cells, hence data transmission is simple, uniform, and predictable. Now we have that there are two different cells formats, the user network interface and the network interface. The UNI binds a user device to public or private switch, and the NNI describes a connection between two switches. And finally, we have the characteristics of asynchronous. Asynchronous implies that the cells do not need to be transmitted continuously, as in synchronous lines, and cells are sent only when there is data to be sent.
Okay, now I talk about ATM reference model. ATM reference model comprises of three layers: a physical layer, ATM layer, and ATM adaptation layer, or AAL. Physical layer is this layer corresponds to physical layer of OSI model. At this layer, the cells are converted into bit streams and transmitted of the physical medium. And ATM layer, this layer compatible to data link of OSI model. It accepts the 48-byte segments for the upper layer and 5-byte header to each segment and convert into 53 bytes cells. This layer is responsible to routing of each cell, traffic management, and multiplexing and switching. And finally, ATM adaptation layer, or AAL, and corresponds to network layer of Model OSI. It's provided facilities to the existing packages switches networks to connect to ATM networks and use its services. Next slide.
Okay, as previously mentioned, the ATM is a standard for communications that is growing rapidly because it can transmit at a speed of several megabits until reaching the gigabits. Making note this, there are 4 advantages that I would like to give to you. First of all, the traffic. This is because a single ATM network will accommodate all types of traffic, including the voice, the data, and the video. The ATM improves network efficiently and also improves the manageability of it. The second advantage is new applications. This is because the ATM enables new applications due to its high speed of integration of that traffic types. ATM enables the creation and expansion of new applications such as the multimedia that we all know. The third characteristic will be the compatibility. This is because the ATM is not based on a specific type of physical transport. It is compatible with the current physical networks that have been deployed. And also, the ATM can be implemented over a twisted pair, a coaxial cable, or a fiber optic cable. And the last advantage will be that it simplifies network control. This is because ATM is evolving towards a standard technology for all types of communications. This uniformity aims to simplify network control using the same technology for all the levels of the network. Next. Okay, similarly, no matter how neat the ATM network seems, it does not mean that it doesn't have disadvantages in certain areas. In this case, there are disadvantages in 4 areas. First of all, the congestion. This is because the error control mechanisms like the flow control and the congestion control made extreme due to that connection-oriented feature. And this can end up damaging the performance of the network or the end of the communication itself. The second disadvantage is that it's overpriced. There are high-speed technologies that provide high performance at prices that the ATM products cannot compete. For example, we know the fiber distributed data interface, the FDDI, and the fast Ethernet. The third disadvantage is that it duplicates systems. As most internet traffic is IP and the management of ATM networks is different from the IP, such systems will have to be duplicated, one for each, leading to greater problems of operation and maintenance, in addition to the high cost of implementing it. And the last disadvantage will be that it have too much links. Okay, let's explain. The ATM is presented with an excessive number of links necessary to connect the nodes of the ATM network because it is used the rule of n. The rule of n is n minus 1 divided by 2. For example, for 50 nodes, we will need 50 by 49 divided by 2 links. That will give us a total of 1,225 links just to connect a network.
Okay, finally, we can see some applications of ATM. The first application is ATM once. It can be used as a one to send over long distance router services as an endpoint between ATM networks and another networks. Second application, it's multimedia virtual private networks and managed services. It helps in managing ATM, LAN, voice, and video services, and is capable of full services virtual private network. Third application is frame relay backbone. Frame relay services are used as a networking infrastructure for a range of data service and enable frame relay ATM service to internetworking services. And the final application is residential broadband, networks. ATM is by choose provides the networking infrastructure for the establishment of residential broadband services in the search of a highly scalable solutions. And this is all for these presentations. Thanks for your attention.